Hello, this is Laura again from Little Angel Theatre. I've got another story here for you today. This one is called The 7 Ravens by the Brothers Grimm, and I hope you enjoy it. Here we go. There was once a man who had 7 sons, and last of all, 1 daughter. The little girl was so weak and small that they thought she could not live, but they said she should be at once christened. So the father sent one of his sons in haste to the spring to get some water, but the other 6 brothers ran with him. Each wanted to be the first at drawing the water, and so they were in such a hurry that all let their pitchers fall into the well, and they stood very foolishly looking at one another and did not know what to do, for no one dared to go home. In the meantime, the father was uneasy and could not tell what made the young men stay so long. "Surely," said he, "the whole 7 must have forgotten themselves over some game of play." And when he waited still longer and they yet did not come, he flew into a rage and wished them all be turned into ravens. Scarcely had he spoken these words when he heard a croaking over his head, and looked up, and he saw 7 ravens, black as coals, flying over his head. Sorry as he was to see his wish so fulfilled, he did not know how what was done could be undone, and comforted himself as well as he could for the loss of his 7 sons with his dear little daughter, who soon became stronger and every day more beautiful. For a long time she did not know what had ever happened to her brothers, for her father and mother took care not to speak of them before her. But one day, by chance, she heard the people about her speak of them. "Yes," said they, "she is beautiful indeed, but still 'tis a pity that her brothers should have been lost for her sake." Then she was much grieved, and went to her father and her mother and asked if she had any brothers and what had become of them. So they said it was the will of heaven, that her birth was the only innocent cause of it. But the little girl thought herself bound to bring her brothers back, and one day she set out into the wide world to find her brothers and free them, whatever it might cost her. She took nothing with her but a little ring which her father and mother had given her, a loaf of bread in case she should be hungry, a little pitcher of water in case she should be thirsty, and a little stool to rest upon when she should be weary. Thus she went on and journeyed till she came to the world's end. Then she came to the sun, but the sun looked much too hot and fiery, so she ran away quickly to the moon. But the moon was cold and chilly and said, "I smell flesh and blood this way." So she took herself away in a hurry, and she came to the stars, and the stars were friendly and kind to her, and each sat upon their own little stool. But the morning star rose up and gave her a little piece of wood and said, "If you have not this little piece of wood, then you cannot unlock the castle that stands on the glass mountain, and there your brothers live." The little girl took the piece of wood and rolled it up in a little cloth, and she went on again until she came to the glass mountain, and there she found the door shut. Then she felt for the little piece of wood. She put it in the door and opened it. As she went in, a servant came up to her and said, "What are you seeking for?" "Oh, I seek my brothers, the 7 ravens," answered she. Then the servant said, "My masters are not home, but if you will wait till they come in, pray step in." Now the little servant was getting their dinner ready, and he brought their food upon 7 little plates. and their drink in 7 little glasses, and set them upon the table. And out of each plate their sister ate a small piece, and out of each glass she drank a small drop. But she let the ring that she had brought with them fall into the last glass. Suddenly she heard a fluttering and croaking in the air, and the servants said, "Oh, here come my masters." When they came in, they wanted to eat and drink, and they looked for their little plates and glasses. Then one said after the other, "Who has eaten from my little plate, and who has been drinking out of my little glass? Caw, caw, well I ween, mortal lips have this way been." When the 7th came to the bottom of his glass and found the ring, he looked at it and knew that it was his father's and his mother's, and said, "Oh, that our little sister would but come, then we should be free." When the little girl heard this, for she stood behind the door the whole time, she ran forward, and in an instant all the ravens took their right form again, and they all hugged and kissed each other, and they went merrily home. The end.